Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. Today I want to discuss about the chapter current electricity. So before this chapter we have studied how charges behave when they are in static nature. Now here we are going to study when charges flows. So last chapter we have studied the forces between different charges and electric field due to continuous charge distribution and Gauss law, Coulomb's law we have studied. In this chapter what happens is the charges now starts moving. What moving charges will do? What happens when charge moves? Total electricity is only because of the character of the electron, which is known as charge. So here we will study the behavior of charge when it is flowing. So what is the meaning of current? So you already know water current, and in your previous class, that is in your PUC first year, you have studied about thermal current. Thermal current is rate of flow of heat energy. Similarly, water current means the flow of water. How much water is flowing in how much time. So the current generally refers to the word flow. So here in electric current, which is going to flow? That is nothing but charge. When charge is flowing inside a conductor, then we can say that current is generated. So what is the definition of current? If you come to the definition of current, electric current definition is the rate of flow of charge. How much charge is flowing in how much time, denoted by letter I. I is equal to Q by T. Q by T. And it is rate of flow of charge. The rate of flow of charge flowing through the cross section area of a conductor is called current. Rate of flow of charge passing through the cross section area of conductor is called current. Now if you take water current, what is the whether water is flowing on its own? For that we have to create some height difference, that is some pressure difference you have to create. Whenever there is some pressure gradient or whenever there is some pressure difference, water will flow across a pipe. Suppose let's assume this as a water pipe and feel that water is flowing. So when water is flowing, I have to create some pressure difference. Let us take pressure here as P1, pressure here as P2. I should create some pressure difference. Let us take P2 greater than P1 greater than P2. Once we create pressure difference, water starts flowing. Or once we create height difference, you have seen in your first year in Bernoulli's principle, there will be some height difference and water will flow. Whenever there is some height difference, there will be pressure difference. That is known as gauge pressure. That is known as gauge pressure. So when you create pressure difference, water flows. Then when this charge flows, to make charge to flow, what we have to do? The thing is, we have to create potential difference. Whenever you are going to create potential difference, then current flows. Once you create potential difference, current flows. So in the first point I said that current is flowing, charges are flowing inside the conductor. But when you come to your Gauss law, already you studied in Gauss law, electric field inside a conductor, that is inside a hollow shell, electric field is 0. Because charge is deposited on the surface and there is no electric field inside the hollow sphere, inside the conductor electric field is 0. Then how these electrons or charged particles are moving inside the conductor? Basically here movement of electrons constitute current. So how electrons are moving? Because of application of external potential difference. Suppose this is a conductor. Suppose this is a conductor. For this conductor, if I am applying an external potential difference created by a device called cell, we will create one external potential difference. Because of that, electric field exists inside the conductor and electrons start moving opposite to the direction of current. The direction of positive charge is taken as the direction of current. That is the reason why we will tell that if electron moves from right to left, current will be from left to right. Here, electric current has a direction. It has a direction. Electric current has a direction, and it is a fundamental quantity which is denoted by letter I, and it is having both direction as well as magnitude, but it is not regarded as a vector quantity. But it is not a vector quantity. It is purely a scalar quantity. The reason for this you will get in next classes in Kirchhoff's laws. What happens? Electric current has magnitude as well as direction, but it will not obey vector's laws of addition. That means suppose if there is a junction, let us consider there is a junction. There are two currents I1 and I2 are leaving the junction. If another current I3 is approaching the junction, then by using Kirchhoff's laws we will write directly I3 is equal to I1 plus I2, but we are not taking the angle between I1 and I2. According to parallelogram law, I should write I3 bar is equal to I1 bar plus I2 bar, that is equal to root of I1 square plus I2 square plus 2 I1 I2 cos theta, but we are not going to take the angle between the two vectors. That's why electric current fails to obey vectors laws of addition. Therefore, it is regarded as a scalar quantity. It is a physical quantity which has both magnitude as well as direction, but it is not considered as a vector quantity. So, what we learned here in the part of introduction, what is current? Many types of currents are there. That is, water current is there. You have studied in your fluid dynamics, that is mechanical properties of fluids. When we create pressure difference, water will flow. Similarly, thermal current is there. When we create temperature difference, heat will flow from high temperature to low temperature. Similarly, electric current, what is the meaning of electric current is rate of flow of charge. If you consider a conductor, at what rate the charges are flowing, at what time, we call this as electric current, and unit per electric current is ampere. Unit per electric current is ampere. And how to define 1 ampere? So sometimes this kind of questions they will ask for 1 mark. What is electric current? Electric current is rate of flow of charge. And what is ampere? Then how to write the definition? You can observe here very carefully. I is equal to 1 when Q is equal to 1 and T is equal to 1. That means the current inside a conductor is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge flows in 1 second. Sometimes they will ask how many electrons are flowing in order to create 1 ampere current. That means that you can calculate according to the principle of Q is equal to NE. 1 coulomb is equal to number of charges into electron charge 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Then you can get a number of electrons flowing. So when these many electrons are flowing, it is going to constitute 1 ampere current. Current is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge flows through the cross section of a conductor in 1 second. So when if charge is flowing at the rate of 1 coulomb per 1 second, then we can tell that current is having 1 ampere. So current we can take it as 1 ampere. Now let us see what are the charge carriers in solids, liquids as well as in gases. So what are the charge carriers? So when you come to a solid, let us take a solid. In solid there are conductors, insulators and semiconductors. If you come across conductors, in case of conductors, the charge carriers are electrons. The free electrons will move, the charge carriers are electrons only. The electrons will carry the charge. When you apply potential difference across the conductor, electrons start moving inside the conductor and will take the direction of current opposite to the direction of electrons. So the charge carriers in case of solids, in case of conductors, that is in case of metals, the charge carriers are electrons. Then when you are coming for liquids, when you take electrified electrolytes, if you take electrolytes, in case of electrolytes, what we'll do, we'll take a electrolyte, let us consider NaCl, we'll take a electrolyte, here we'll arrange one anode and one cathode we'll arrange. When you take electrolyte like NaCl, Na plus, and it will split into Cl minus, this Na plus move towards, this is positive charge, it will move towards cathode. When it is moving, one charge is moving. When charge is moving, according to our definition, current is generated. And this Cl minus will move towards anode. Here in case of liquids, that is in case of electrolytes, ions are the charge carriers. In case of electrolytes, ions are the charge carriers. And when it is coming for gases, gases are naturally, they are non-conductors of electricity. But under certain conditions, they may undergo ionization and they can conduct electricity. So in case of gases also, the charge carriers are, in case of gases, the charge carriers are ions only. And when coming to semiconductors, so this you will study in your future classes, that is in this PUC only, you will study semiconductors in detail. In case of semiconductors, electrons and holes are the charge carriers. So these charge carriers, when they are moving, it will constitute current. Now let us discuss in detail about conductors and how they are able to conduct electricity and what are the velocities that electrons will have. So let us see now what happens in case of a conductor. Now let us take a conductor like copper. You take a conductor, electrical conductor. So let us consider a conductor. It is a solid. It has many number of atoms. Let us consider one atom. If you take it as copper, some 2 electrons will be revolving around this nucleus. These are the valence electrons. Now, these valence electrons are confined to this atom only. But because of some temperature, because actually the lowest possible temperature is absolute zero, that is minus 0 Kelvin, that is minus 273. So if you take a conductor at room temperature will be, naturally it will be around 27 degrees Celsius, it will be equal to 300 Kelvin. So if I maintain a conductor at this temperature, what happens is electrons will gain energy. The electrons within this conductor, many atoms are there. In every atom around 2 valence electrons are there. These electrons will be revolving around their nucleus. Once if I am maintaining a conductor at 27 degrees Celsius, what happens at room temperature? These electrons will gain some energy. That energy is called thermal energy. They will gain some energy called thermal energy. And after gaining this thermal energy, the electrons will get away from this nucleus. They start moving away from this nucleus with a certain velocity called thermal velocity. This is called thermal velocity. So if you see your textbook, they have given that conductor will have electrons which are moving freely. How electrons will move freely inside conductor? They will be moving in different directions, and total velocity will be 0. When we apply a potential difference, they will start drifting. What is the meaning of drifting and why they are free? We can say that always, every time we will tell that conductors are having free electrons. How they are having free electrons? Because of thermal energy. So because of thermal energy, what happens? These electrons will have thermal velocity. Because of that thermal velocity, let us consider there is one electron. It will be moving in this direction. There will be another electron which will be moving in another direction. And this thermal velocity will be very high in kilometers per second. Because of this thermal velocity, suppose the number of electrons inside conductor per millimeter will be around some 10 to the power of 29 electrons may be present. So many number of electrons are present. So many electrons will be moving inside the conductor, but they will move in a zigzag manner. They don't have any definite direction. They are free, they are having energy, they can move in different directions. Suppose let us assume some 10 electrons are moving in this direction. There may be another 10 electrons which may be moving opposite to the previous electrons. Another 10 electrons will be there. So let us take the velocity of these electrons as V1. V1 along down direction. This will be V1 along upward direction, and total velocity will become 0. So if you consider the total velocity of total number of electrons inside conductor is 0. There is no electron which is moving in a particular direction. That's why thermal velocity cannot generate electric current. For that reason, we have to connect one external battery, external cell, in order to make electrons to move. So these electrons are coming out, and these electrons are coming out and they are moving in different direction. And here one more question arises. Suppose if these electrons are moving in different direction, let us consider an electron. Why this electron is not leaving the surface of the conductor? Electrons are within the conductor only. They are not leaving the surface of the conductor. The reason is, once if that electron leaves, what happens? This conductor will get, atom in a conductor will get positive charge, and as the Coulomb's force is very large, this will get attracted back towards the conductor, and that's why conductor will be always in neutral state. So what is the charge of a conductor? It will be neutral. So once if I connect, next time what I will do, if I connect this conductor, if I connect this conductor to a external voltage, if I am giving an external voltage here, let us consider I have connected one cell, I provided potential difference. One side I maintained positive, one side I maintained negative. Now electron starts drifting. In this direction. Electron starts moving. Now what happens in this case is, let us consider one electron which is having a thermal velocity in this direction. When I connect external potential difference, I have created one electric field. Inside the conductor. Once I create electric field inside the conductor, every charged particle inside the electric field will get a force. So electron moves opposite to the electric field, whereas proton moves in the direction of electric field. So this electron is having thermal velocity in upward direction. Once if I apply electric field in this direction, if I apply electric field in this direction, this electron starts moving opposite to the electric field, and instead of reaching a point A here, it reaches here. There will be some drift. This is called drift velocity. Now what is the difference between thermal velocity as well as drift velocity? Thermal velocity of different electrons are in different direction. That's why net thermal velocity of a conductor has become 0. But whereas drift velocity, you can take any electron, you take one more electron moving in this direction. Let us take one electron is moving in this direction. For this electron, if I apply electric field, For this electron, if I apply electric field like this, now what happens? This electron starts moving opposite to the direction. Here you consider one electron moving in this direction. If I apply electric field to this electron, so electron instead of moving in this direction, it will drift in the direction of opposite to the electric field. So it starts moving here. So if you sum up all the drift velocities of all electrons, they will have only one direction. That's why drift velocity across a conductor is not equal to 0 whenever a potential difference is applied. So when you apply a potential difference, drift velocity will never become 0. Whereas thermal velocity will become 0. Because of this velocity called drift velocity, electrons will move, and it is the cause for current. And there is some relationship between drift velocity and current. That relationship we'll see in the next video. Thank you everyone.